My wife sold the engagement ring I worked 3 jobs to afford. When I confronted her, she said, "Get over it." So I filed for divorce. Now she won't stop calling, begging me to reconsider. Hello, Reddit I plus here. My name is Landon Brooks, and I'm 34 years old. If you had told me 5 years ago that my marriage would end over a piece of jewelry, I would have laughed. But what ended us wasn't about the ring itself, it was what the ring stood for. It's strange how something so small could hold years of sweat, love, and sacrifice, and how quickly it could all be sold away. I met Tara 7 years ago at a late-night marketing seminar at a local community college. I was 27, working full-time as a delivery driver during the day and taking classes in the evenings to finish my business degree. Tara was 25, studying to become a dental hygienist while working as a receptionist at a small clinic. We bonded over exhaustion and caffeine, two broke dreamers trying to build something from scratch. We'd meet at a 24-hour diner after class, sharing coffee and fries, swapping stories about crappy bosses, small paychecks, and big ambitions. She was warm, funny, and sharp-tongued in a way that made life feel a little lighter. I thought she was grounded, humble even. She came from modest roots like me. Her parents had split when she was in high school, and she'd been supporting herself since 18. We talked about how we both wanted stability, not luxury, something real, something earned. For the first time in my life, I felt seen. 2 years into dating, I knew she was it. I wanted to give her a proposal that wasn't just romantic. It needed to mean something. Tara had once told me that her grandmother had a beautiful vintage diamond ring she'd always admired in old photos. It had been sold decades ago when her grandfather lost his job, so I made up my mind. I would get her a ring like that one, a symbol of love, work, and permanence. But I couldn't afford something like that on my $40,000 a year delivery job. So I did something that nearly broke me. I took on 2 more jobs. For 6 months, I worked days delivering furniture, evenings restocking shelves at a hardware store, and weekends doing overnight security at a logistics office. I was running on 5 hours of sleep and caffeine strong enough to melt metal. I told Tara I was saving for our future, but I never mentioned the ring. I wanted it to be a surprise. When I finally saved $6,200, I went to a jeweler and designed it myself. A platinum band with a 1-carat center diamond and smaller stones on the sides. It was classic, elegant, and nearly identical to her grandmother's ring. When I proposed, I did it at the diner where we first met, right at our usual booth, with the jukebox humming softly in the background. Tara cried so hard she couldn't even say yes for a full minute. When she finally did, she threw her arms around me, sobbing, saying, "You worked yourself to the bone for this, didn't you?" I smiled and said, "For us." She wore that ring every single day for the next 4 years. Our first years of marriage were beautiful in their simplicity. We bought a small 2-bedroom house on the edge of town, split chores, saved money, and dreamed about maybe having a kid someday. Tara finished school, landed a solid job at a dental practice, and I got promoted to logistics manager at the company I'd started with years earlier. We weren't rich, but we were steady. At least that's what I thought. Somewhere along the line, something in Tara changed. It started innocently. She downloaded Instagram to keep up with friends. Soon she was glued to her phone, scrolling for hours, comparing herself to influencers and old classmates. She'd sigh and show me photos, someone's new kitchen, someone's trip to Greece, someone's brand new SUV. Then she'd say things like, "We're falling behind, Landon," or "I'm tired of living like we're still in college." I'd tell her we were doing fine, that we had a house, no major debt, and a growing savings account. But she wasn't satisfied with fine. She started buying designer handbags, booking spa appointments, upgrading her wardrobe with professional wear. The credit card balances climbed faster than I could pay them down. When I asked about it, she'd say, "I work just as hard as you do, Landon." I deserve nice things. I tried to remind her of what we'd always valued, saving, building, security. But to her, I sounded like a man without ambition. About 6 months ago, Tara started obsessing over remodeling the kitchen. Our kitchen was small and outdated, sure, but functional. I told her maybe in a few years, once we'd saved more, but she wanted it now. She brought home contractor quotes, $35,000 to $45,000, and I nearly choked. I said there was no way we could afford that without going deep into debt. She glared at me and said, "You're just afraid of change. You're comfortable being average." That argument was the first time she slept in the guest room. 3 weeks ago, I came home after a long day and found Tara in the kitchen humming to herself. She was cooking dinner, smiling like she hadn't in months. "Good day?" I asked. "The best," she said. "I finally did something about our situation." I raised an eyebrow. "What situation?" "Our finances. I found a way to start the kitchen remodel." Then she handed me a folded piece of paper. It was a receipt from a jeweler's exchange. The top line read, "Item sold, 1 platinum engagement ring, $4,000. I froze. She smiled proudly. "See? Now we can finally afford to start. I already paid the contractor's deposit." It took me a full minute to process what I was looking at. My throat went dry. You sold your engagement ring?" "Our ring," she corrected, still smiling. "Don't look so shocked. It was just sitting there on my hand, doing nothing. Now it's helping us build something real." I just stared at her. That ring had cost me 6 months of no sleep, 3 jobs, and more sacrifice than I'd ever made for anyone. It wasn't just a ring. It was everything I thought our marriage was built on. She rolled her eyes. "Oh, don't be so dramatic. It's just jewelry. You can't live your life worshipping sentimental junk. This is a grown-up decision." When I asked her why she didn't talk to me first, she said, "Because you would have said no. You always say no." I told her to call the jeweler to get it back. Whatever it cost, I'd pay. She just shrugged. "It's gone, Landon. They already resold it. Besides, the deposit's non-refundable. What's done is done. You need to get over it." Those 4 words, "get over it," hit me like a hammer to the chest. She didn't just sell a ring. She sold the last piece of respect I had for her. I slept in the guest room that night. I could still see the small indentation on her finger where the ring used to be. I couldn't stop staring at it. For days, I tried to talk to her calmly. Each time, she dismissed me like I was being childish. She said things like, "I can't believe you're choosing a piece of metal over our marriage." And, "You're stuck in the past, Landon. I'm trying to build a future." But it wasn't the metal I cared about. It was what it meant. That ring was supposed to be our foundation. She'd turned it into collateral for countertops. So after a week of silence and sleepless nights, I packed a bag. I filed for divorce 2 days later. When Tara got the papers, she called me non-stop, crying, yelling, begging. She said she'd made a mistake, that she just wanted us to have a better life. She said the kitchen didn't matter anymore. But it was too late. She'd already shown me what her priorities were. It's been 3 months since I moved out. I'm living in a small apartment near the river now. It's quiet, simple, peaceful. Sometimes I still think about that ring, not because of its value, but because it reminds me of a man I used to be. A man who believed love was built on sacrifice, effort, and shared dreams. Now I know better. Love without respect is just a transaction waiting to happen. And in the end, Tara sold more than a ring. She sold the last bit of us that was worth anything. A week after I filed for divorce, Tara started calling non-stop. At first, I ignored her. Then came the messages, paragraphs at a time. She said she was sorry, that she didn't think it through, that she'd only wanted to make things better, but the apologies came wrapped in excuses. "You never wanted to improve anything, Landon. You made me feel like I had to do it alone. It was just a mistake. Why throw everything away over that?" Every message made it clearer. She wasn't sorry she sold the ring. She was sorry for the consequences. Then, one evening, she showed up at my apartment. She looked different, tired, makeup smudged, eyes red from crying. She stood in the doorway, holding a small box. "I bought this," she said softly, opening it to show a cheap silver ring inside. "I know it's not the same, but I wanted to replace what I ruined." I stared at it. It wasn't about the money. It never was. But the gesture felt hollow, like a bandage over a bullet wound. "Tara," I said quietly, "you can't buy back respect. You can't sell something that represents love, and then expect love to still mean the same thing." She looked down, her voice cracking. "I just wanted to feel like I was moving forward. I didn't realize I was tearing everything down." For the first time in a long while, I believed she was being honest. But honesty doesn't rebuild trust once it's burned to the ground. I told her I wished her the best, that I hoped she found whatever she was chasing. She nodded slowly, tears rolling down her cheeks, then walked away without another word. I haven't seen her since. Sometimes, late at night, I still think about that ring. Not the diamond or the band, but what it symbolized. Effort, loyalty, and belief in something lasting. Now I wear something else on my hand. A small, plain silver ring I bought myself. It's not a symbol of a relationship. It's a reminder that love means nothing without respect, and that some things, once sold, can never truly be bought back.